Cecil, I do believe you've stepped in dooder. In regard to a tattoo studio in your house concerning tattoos and piercings. So, we're going to find out exactly how much doo-doo you just got yourself into. Cecil, you don't learn, do you? Here we go.
Depending on the state you're in, you're going to require a license. And health inspectors require that you have them posted in a conspicuous place upon entry. That way they can ensure that you're up to date and current.
No, I'm not quite sure what the regulation is in Kentucky, but I'm sure there is a document that will show you the regulations for your state.
Disposal of sharps containers. Most states require you to have an account with a local professional disposal company.
Cecil, did you know anything about this term in regard to sharps? Oh dear, Cecil.
You need that documentation ready for when the health inspector comes, because you can't throw your sharps in the trash.
So if you're a completely disposable shop, you can disregard these few bits of information. But if you do any sort of sterilization in your studio, you're going to require a dirty room. This is where you clean and process your tools before sterilization. Every dirty room should be marked with a biohazard symbol. Let's look at what's going on inside.
I didn't know that.
And make sure you put your initials and the date that the package was sterilized.
Wow. Wow. Cecil, do you know what I noticed with Cecil's video? He had those Timu guns, and I don't even know if they're legal for public use under the Department of Health. I am not quite sure about that. I know, as far as I know, in Ireland, the piercing gun was banned. Something to do with hygiene or whatever. But anyway, let's continue.
Next up in the sterilization process is your autoclave, or some form of sterilizer. Now this is also going to require a monthly spore test. A spore test is where you actually put active spores in a sterilization pouch and sterilize them, sending off the results to ensure that your autoclave is properly destroying all spores.
So you have to regularly test this machine to see if it's working by sending it off to some sort of laboratory. Interesting.
Upon passing the spore test, the company in which you contract to do the spore testing will provide you with a document that your health inspector will want to see upon completion of that health inspection.
Seems like a lot of preparation you have to do for setting up a studio like this. It's very interesting though. I didn't know anything about this before. I just did know that there was some sort of regulations.
Next up, we want to make sure that all studios, well, have gloves. And there's an appropriate way to don those gloves. First, you want to reach in and grab the edge as best you can, trying to minimize touching the glove. And then use that gloved hand to pull out the next. Next up,
There's a lot of hygiene etiquette that we wouldn't know because we're not in the industry. But it's very interesting all the same. Very interesting indeed.
health inspector is going to ensure that your tools have been properly packaged, and they're also going to check those expiration dates. Now, if it's been steam autoclaves, they're also going to look to ensure that the steam indicator has been turned to the proper color.
Next up, your health inspector is going to check your inks and ensure that the expiration date is still good. Your health inspector will want to ensure that you're using the proper sanitization chemicals like green soap, rubbing alcohol, and hospital-grade disinfectants like Cavicide.
What the heck is green soap? Green soap.
It's also great practice to have them labeled properly for their inspection. You also want to make sure that your waste receptacles have a lid and they function well. Every area should have a sharps container as well. Make sure all of your surfaces are non-porous, meaning you can wipe them down easily and disinfect them. So that means no carpet or fabric anywhere in your studio.
No fabric in your studio. I got my nose pierced years ago, and I was actually in this studio, and it was all aluminium checker plated, and I'm nearly sure the ceiling was the same. It was all fucking aluminium checker plated. It was flipping crazy.
You want to ensure that each booth has appropriate separation to avoid cross-contamination. You're going to make sure that you have a sink designated specifically for hand washing in an unobstructed area, and this can't be the sink in your bathroom. They're going to make sure that you're giving your clients their tattoo release forms, as well as ensuring you're giving them their aftercare instructions.
For each client, they do have to fill out some sort of disclaimer form or something to that effect. Oh, see, so have you done any research?
So that's all we have for today. Of course, individual cities, states, and even counties sometimes have different requirements for tattoo studios.
But I'm sure that they have some sort of regulation.
So I urge you to check out your local health department or state regulatory body to find out what's required in those health inspections. But I challenge you to do everything I've shown you today, and you won't have any problems passing your next tattoo health inspections. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
Lovely. That's good to know. Right, I'm not finished yet. Oh, I'm not finished yet. Hold on a second. Oh, my community post. No, there's 8 minutes of this, but in the middle of it there's health regulations, and this is to do with the state of Tennessee.
Just one small ember can burn down everything.
Shite.
What is up, YouTube? It's Brandon from Tattooing 101, and today I'm going to break down the steps to open up a tattoo studio. I've owned 2 tattoo studios in my career so far, and also worked at a ton before that, so I have a lot of knowledge on how to set up and do those things, and I know a lot of you, along with your journey, that's everyone's end goal. So these are my steps to open up a tattoo studio, and if you're not...
Now, this is, not just the regulations. I'm going to try and get into the regulations if I can possibly get it, because I'm just there is preparation on how to open a business, how to do your taxes, all that kind of stuff. I'm just interested in the health regulations, to be honest with you, so I'm going to try and skip to that if I can.
Internet, all those things are important, and schedule out on a piece of paper and plan everything and know exactly what you need to make each week to be able to pay all the bills and be able to pay for rent to keep the doors open. The last thing you want to do is open up a tattoo studio, figure out in 6 months you're not able to do it, and then have to try to go back to work, because after telling someone that you're going to open up a tattoo studio, you're going to burn a lot of bridges. Which is another point. Do not tell anyone you're going to open up a tattoo studio. If you're starting out an apprenticeship and they ask you what are your goals, never say that your goal is to open up a studio, because they're going to think in their head that you're going to be competition eventually. They're not going to give you a shot just because of that reason. So
this isn't relevant to what I want to talk about. I want to get into the health regulations and that, so I'm not 100% sure where it is on this.
don't necessarily lie to them. Lying's the worst thing you could do, but just say, your goal is to learn how to tattoo, and you just want to learn to be the best you possibly can and learn everything along with the business. That'll be my advice for that. Next, you have all your funds ready. That's going to be finding the location and talking to your health department, understanding all of the steps you need to take in order to get into there and build everything up to code. So Tennessee has a pretty in-depth health department. They have a
Ooh, this is the important bit.
list of steps that you need to do, and the walls need to be a specific way, painted. It can't be straight wood. Everything needs to be clean, collected. It has to be sterilization, bloodborne pathogens pickups. You have to have a specific amount of cartridges, specific amount of paper towels in each booth, running water, hooked up to city disposal, and a ton of other stuff that you need to look into because every health department is different. So looking into those things will help out. Biohazard disposal was a big deal. And also in Tennessee, we have to have curtains put up in each station to be able to give privacy if your customer does want that. That's one thing that's different from any other state that I've worked in that you need to have. So all of these things, if they come out and everything's set up correctly and you don't have one of those things, they will not let you open. The worst thing you want to do is have a ton of people set up and you let them know your opening day and they come out and they say, well, you didn't do this, so you can't open until it's done. That can be super hectic, and then you have to spend a ton of money trying to get it done as quick as possible, which isn't going to help you out in the long run. So plan everything.
This is, there's just 2 videos. I'm sure that the document is online somewhere. I couldn't be bothered looking it up because it's not my interest in that. But I do have a concern because of Cecil's intentions to tattoo the public, especially piercing babies. That's very, very concerning. I mean, I'm not joking around here.
I actually have a binder with all of the health codes, everything I need to do, and everything set up. So anytime I want to open up a tattoo studio, I know exactly what I need to do, and it's all planned out. Another thing I had to do when I found my location is draw up the schematics of how everything was going to be set up, where the bathroom was going to be, where the stations were, where the sinks are. Everything in detail I had to sketch out and send to the health department so they could check everything, know the dimensions, know that there's a sink in every single station, and approve it before I even started construction. And I did it all myself. I built all the walls, put up the drywall, did all the drywall sanding, all the things, painted the ceiling, which was the worst part of the whole thing. I did have a couple friends help me. My really good friends helped me paint the ceiling, put up the walls. I had my one buddy that's a plumber come out and help me out with that, which helped a ton. Obviously, I don't do plumbing for a living, so I would have messed something up. So having people help you out is going to be a great thing as well. So build up a connection with people, and they're going to be there just like you're there for them. So that's one thing that helped me out throughout my career as well, having people to be there to help me out.
That, I mean, we're talking thousands before you even start. Just to be up to flipping code with the health department.
So you got the location, you did all the building. Now it's time to get everything ready for your opening day. So you need to advertise, hit the books, make sure that everyone knows that you're opening and the date that you're opening. What I like to do is on opening day, I'll have little giveaways. So you draw a tag, you buy a tag for $1, $5, whatever, and you draw 3 at the end, you get a free tattoo. One's a $100 tattoo, one's a $200 tattoo, one's a $500 tattoo. And usually if a ton of people come out, it's worth it. You end up getting your money back through the tags that are sold. Sometimes you won't. It just depends on how much people you have to follow you. So marketing is going to be a huge deal for you. And get business cards as soon as you have the location set in and you start working. So you could have the address, all of that stuff, even your phone number on there, email, so that people could start reaching out and you could start getting the clientele base set up before you even start opening. That'll help you hit the ground running whenever you first start opening up.
I was trying to get a word in edgeways. That is not, most likely not relevant in this situation, but he is going to go back and talk about the health department again in regard to inspection, which is the one thing that I wanted to know about, and I found it out on this video. Even though it is, this guy is in Tennessee. It's not, the rules and regulations is probably different from state to state, but they probably most likely have similar regulations throughout the states. But you need to check, in the particular state that you're in.
Next is going to be, before opening, the health department's going to come out and check your stations. They're going to go through everything that you have and make sure everything's up to date. All of your dates on your inks, all of that stuff. And they come out every 3 months and check all of those things. So it's something you have to be very mindful. And since you are the owner, if something happens to where something's wrong, you are going to be liable. I think it's $300 per offense, which I've never got anything. I've always gotten 100%, which is awesome, on all of my health department ratings, which is really great. I'm super thankful that me and my team have such a great understanding of all the health department codes and all that stuff, so I don't have to deal with any of that or stress about that as well. So having a good team working with you at a tattoo studio will help balance out all of the things, so it's not just put 100% on your shoulders. You could have someone answering phones, or if you have an apprentice, be able to do those things, and you'll just focus on running the business, doing taxes, all of that stuff. Which gets on to the next point, doing your taxes. Make sure you
I don't need to know anything about taxes, but that's basically that's it in a nutshell. If you set up a business like this, you need to check your regulations with the Department of Health within your state. Which the video that I just put out, there is a lot of red flags there, and there is a public concern. So I just thought I would let you know. So I'll see you in the next video, folks.